Truth bomb. Just because you can find a home for something doesn't mean it deserves to stay in your home. Today, I want to talk to you about the clutter trap that I keep falling into as I'm decluttering my home. It's thinking that I need more storage, more bins, more baskets, more drawers, more cleverly organized little systems. But I have realized that just because I can make or find a home for something doesn't mean that that thing deserves to even stay in my home. For a long time, I thought that organizing meant that every item had a place and therefore I was organized. And yes, that does matter. We want everything in our home to have a home. But now I have started asking myself a better question as I declutter. Is this item actually worth the space it is taking up? Because I don't want to become an expert at organizing things that don't actually belong in my real life. You see, I have this very special, important place in my house. Let me show you. Did you see that? Is that what you expected it would be or no? That, my friends, that was an empty drawer, a drawer that holds no purpose other than to remain empty. Old Kay would have said, I need to fill that. That's perfect. Here's something I can put in that drawer, or bring something new into the home saying, because I have an empty drawer, I can buy this. But this Kay, I am using that as margin. I am using that to train myself that not every space needs to be filled. Not every drawer needs to be stuffed to the brim. I can have empty space and I can rest and relax in that. So I want to take you around my house to 3 very specific places that I have fallen into the clutter trap that I need to deal with. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Kay. Welcome to my home. I'm talking about decluttering, realistic routines, intentional living, and creating a life you don't have to recover from. Right now, I'm in the middle of an 1,000-item declutter. It is a beast, but the more I declutter, the more I realize it's not just about the stuff you get rid of. It's about noticing what my house is actually asking me to manage. Clutter is not always a pile on the floor. Sometimes clutter is labeled. Sometimes it's organized. Sometimes clutter is tucked into a drawer that closes nicely. And that is what makes clutter sneaky. Because when something is organized, it feels handled. But organized does not always mean useful. It doesn't always mean good. And it doesn't always mean it's worth keeping. So today we are starting here with my kids' toys, which you can see are not currently fitting perfectly in their bins. I want to say this gently because A, my children are right there, and B, I know the kids' toys are a hot topic. Kids' stuff in general is a beast of its own category. Toys come in from birthdays and holidays and grandparents, hand-me-downs, random things that they find, the toy that they absolutely had to have that one time at the store and then never touched again. Before you know it, you're not just parenting children, you're managing an entire tiny inventory system. So we have bins, we have baskets, we have an entire toy chest in front of us. We also have upstairs. We have a closet over there. I even have an empty purple bin. But here's the problem. Here's where this video started. Is when I thought of that empty purple bin, I didn't think, what toys can I store in here? I thought, where am I even going to put this bin when something is stored in it? The problem is that I am trying to make my house function like we have a playroom when we clearly do not. I want to normalize that for a moment. We don't have a separate playroom. They have a few toys up in their rooms. And then we have our living room. That's all we have. That's all a lot of houses have. Our kids' stuff lives in the same spaces that our stuff has to live. Sometimes I think I'm making decisions about toys as if I have a playroom where all of this can live. So honestly, if the toys are taking over, the bins are not closing, or I'm finding that I don't even know where to store the bins, then I don't think the question is, how can I better store this? But rather, what can we let go of? There's less stuff for the kids to dump out when it's decluttered. There's less for me to pick up at the end of the day and less for them to have to choose to play from. There was even studies done that the less toys a kid has to choose from, the deeper, more imaginative they are with what they have. I'm not saying you have to go declutter your kids' toys, but I am saying that I have too much for the space that I actually have. And if the studies are showing that they'd be fine with less, then I think it's time to get rid of some. Sure, I can clean this all up. I can make it look visibly nice. But the better question I need to ask, are these toys worth managing in our home right now? So I'm going to look at what they actually play with. A lot of it is currently out on the ground, so that'll help. And I'm going to look for anything broken, anything at the bottom of the chest that literally has not been pulled out since the last toy declutter. So ideally, I'm going to pick out the winners, maybe choose a few that will go into rotation bins. Otherwise, honestly, I'm going to be asking, does this deserve the time and space it takes to clean this up? Does this deserve an extra bin or an extra 5 minutes before someone comes over for me to shove this under a chair? It is currently pouring outside, so my kitchen is very dark. But I am headed on to the second section. I just showed you the bag of toys that I got rid of. And I think I'm going to go through the other ones with my daughter and give her some autonomy to offer to donate some of her toys. Now, I want to talk to you about glassware because we have glassware here, water bottles, and here, here, both shelves, but also here. Let me show you. We have fancy dishware with some nice colorful cups. We have fancy tea stuff, coffee mugs from grandparents. We have an entire row of wine glasses, champagne glasses, some of them Christmas, as well as vintage beer steins. Yeah, 3 locations of glassware. Now you might be saying to yourself, but Kay, that doesn't look like clutter. Everything's in its space. There's even empty space. And that's the same thing my brain has been saying for a while. It's fine. There's empty space. I've gotten rid of some of these things. I started out with 24 champagne glasses from my mother-in-law. But here's the thing. We have glassware in the cabinet with the plates. We have glassware, completely only glassware above the stove. We have glassware in here. We are 2 adults. We don't host huge parties. Honestly, max, maybe 6 people need a cup. If it's more than that, we are probably out on the back deck having a barbecue with paper cups. So why, in my house, Do I have 3 different spaces just for things I can drink out of? This, once again, is the clutter trap. If it fits, I let it stay. Because it has a cabinet with breathing room, I let it stay. Because it's organized, it doesn't feel like urgently I need to move things out of here because we're out of room. But organized excess is still excess. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. I just mean if I am using 3 separate areas to store my cups, I have to ask, is this worth the space? I have already mentioned in my things that are worth the space video that I have big kitchen appliances. So what if I made more room for those? Do I want this hutch just holding glasses that I can very clearly see need to be dusted because we do not use them? This is where intentional decluttering is different from just decluttering on a whim or decluttering to clean a space, because cleaning says we can just put it back because there's room. Organizing says let's find the best place and system for these glasses. But intentional decluttering says, how many glassware items do 2 adults need? These glasses aren't causing obvious chaos. They're not out on the floor. They're not in the way, but they are quietly taking up space, causing more cleaning, more tidying than maybe they need to. And that's important because if every category is quietly taking up a little bit of extra space, then that adds up. I need to look at what we actually use and decide what deserves to actually stay. For example, this says Harry Potter. Back when Reddit did their Secret Santa, which I loved, someone hand etched this for me. Do I like Harry Potter? Yes. Am I a Harry Potter fanatic who talks about what house they're in and wears the colored scarves and all the things? No. Do I need this goblet that I used to use for iced coffee? Yes, I did use it, but that's all I used it for, was iced coffee. And I prefer bigger glasses. So do I need this? I don't. Or how about these? My husband is allergic to wheat, just like me, and we do not drink beer. We have 3 beer steins in this cabinet, and we have multiple beer like cups, goblets, I don't know what you'd even call them, in the other cabinet. I know this one has an E on it, but no other like sentimental markings, which we'll get to sentimental decluttering in a different video, but I'm going to ask him about this one. I'm pretty sure this was his grandfather's, so I'm going to keep this one. I don't know what this one is, so I will also ask him about this one. These coffee cups, one of them was my grandmother's on my mom's side. One of them was my husband's grandmother's. They are beautiful. But then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of my dad's mother's. So my grandmother on my dad's side. It's not even a complete set of 8. They must have lost one at some point. I offered to take her china because I didn't get china with my wedding, and I love this blue detail. But do I need 7 teacups to use? Or can I keep 2 and then I have 4 grandparent teacups? Something to think about. Do those deserve space? Or do I get rid of 3 and I just have a set of 4? And then we have 6 for if my mother-in-law and my niece and my sister-in-law and me and my daughter are having a tea party. Then we'll have enough teacups. But then also, in doing this, you realize that there are things like this. I use these cups for lemonade. I use them for wine. I use them for margaritas. Sometimes I just use them for water. And yet, they sit in this fancy hutch because I don't have room in my kitchen. So I come out here. And I can either decide to keep them here because it's like a special thing to come get the fancy cup, which makes me think of going to my grandparents. Or I could make space for them in the kitchen where I actually use them. So it's time to go kitchen and start decluttering there. I even mention that my husband doesn't drink alcohol anymore. Did you see how many wine glasses we have? The funny thing is we got some for my wedding that I absolutely love, and I only have 2 of those left because my husband has broken the others because, of course, they are the ones with stems. But then I've been given other ones over the years, and I have discovered I much like my mug collection from last time, am someone who enjoys picking out a wine glass based on my mood. For example, I got these with the medley wine, and I like that they're a little bit heavier, like a glass, a little thicker. They don't feel like they're just going to crush in my hand. My mother-in-law got me these, and they're very pretty, and they're big, and they also have a nice bottom weight to them. So why do I have, it looks like 20 wine glasses? When my husband doesn't really drink anymore, I will just have a glass of wine on a weekend, or if we have a party or something, I maybe bring out, again, like 5 or 6. Sorry. Oh, yes. And here are the aforementioned beer glasses. My father-in-law likes to drink beer. He is basically the only person. So I will keep one beer glass for him. I do not need all of these. I thought this would be cool to keep one of those like infuse your own tequilas. I thought it would be a fun bottle, but something that April on this base maker method always says, am I just making more work for myself? And I think I would be making more work for myself if I spent the time, it smells so good, if I spent the time clean this up just for this bottle. So we're gonna let that go. Then we have these. I was a brand photographer. I needed love-themed glasses for a photo shoot. They're huge. They're fun. I never reach for them because this one has big old lips and this one says so. So those go. So I have Santa Claus, and he is supposed to be packed away with our Christmas box. I'm not sure why he's here. This one, this cheers, it's coming off. I don't need that. I'm going to keep Santa in the back, knowing typically he gets packed away. Then I have my 2 favorite that I got from our wedding. And I have 3 Idells, which are nice. I have 3 stemless, 2 stems, and then 3 babies. I love these for like a little mezcal, tequila on the rocks. I have this one, which I actually really like. I forget where I got it. I had 2 of them. Well, I'm still holding Santa, 1 second. I had 2 of these. I like how heavy they are at the base. Oh, there it is. It's in the back. And then I have our local winery. I have 2 from the same place, so I only need 1 if I'm collecting them, which I guess I am. That still leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It still leaves me with a lot. I lied, I have 3 of these. I thought I had a set of 2. Dartington. I guess I got a set of 3. That's kind of strange. So I have 3 sets of 3 of my favorite type of glasses. I have Santa Claus, and I have 4 stem. My dad likes to use the stem ones when he comes. I do have plastic ones for outside, but my friend just gave me these, and I would prefer to use these than the plastic ones. I have 4 like stainless steel ones. Oh, there's Mrs. Claus. I knew there was a Mrs. Claus. So we have Santa and Mrs. Claus. These glasses, my husband would make mixed drinks in them, but they're really just like normal cups. So I'm actually going to put them up here with the normal cups and count them over there. We got these for our wedding. They're made of recycled glass. Again, another one that could totally be used in the regular cup cabinet. And I might want to switch them over there because then people can actually use them. 4 of those other ones, I'm going to take them all out. Sorry, we are getting chatty again, much like my clothing declutter, my bathroom declutter. Let me know down in the comments if you prefer to hear me chatting about why I'm keeping something, why I'm getting rid of something, or if you just prefer to see the speed declutter, no commentary. Let me know. So we have a lot of shot glasses for people who don't really use shot glasses. My dad got me this cute little tiki one. I have this one from one of our favorite Mexican restaurants. And then a friend got us a set of these from Korea, and I don't know what any of them say. So I'm just gonna let those go. Oh, I got 4 of these. See, this is amazing because I had no idea. Then we have a box of wine stoppers. I have all of my wine glass things, which my mother-in-law gave us these dogs. I'm actually allergic to dogs. So I'm going to declutter these dachshunds. Then I can put all those together. And we have these 2 little cups that can become just drinking cups also. We'll have a lot of wine. All right, 2 beer. I think one was my husband's grandfather's, and wine. We're getting somewhere. 2 shot glasses. So same thing. This is for mixed drinks. This, I should put all these together. Oh, the magnet for this is in my car. I also like this bottle that is empty, so that can go. This guy, actually, would love to keep him down here with the mixing stuff, so we can do that. What else? Oh, I forgot about this. Mix with alcohol or wine. Hard lemonade. This needs to be use it or lose it. I have a mini shaker, and honestly, when am I going to use a mini shaker? I should let the kids use this outside in the pool. Should I do that, or I should just get rid of it? I should just get rid of it, Kay. We're going to get rid of it. We have a muddler, and we have a fancy long spoon. All of these accoutrements go in this bucket with the wine stoppers. Another plastic one we can get rid of. A flask. I've never used a flask in my life. And memories, dance and juice. I used this the night before my wedding when I hung out with all the girls. And I've always said to my sister that the only way you'll see me on a dance floor at a wedding is if I've had a bit of wine to drink, because otherwise I don't dance. I don't need a sippy cup for wine now in my life. Buckwheat flour. This is probably expired. Buckwheat flour behind the wine glasses, expired November 2021. And these, isn't this such a cute little cup? I like it. And then I like to actually use these other things, like the bathtub and things. I'm going to save these 2 as our only plastic thing. I'm going to move to the left with the overflow of pantry stuff. And then I get all this empty space. I'll show you in a moment. Also, this mint julep, the Wildcat cooler. I feel like any of these, this is what Google is for. And I don't actually need to keep them. I'm even going to do really well and not take the ring off and say I could keep that. All right. So if we do that, and then we put these wine ones back here, fabulous. Let's take a look. Look at that. So now that's empty. These are wine glasses with 2 of the beer ones, and then these are all of the outside ones. And now that can just be, if we have wine or liquor or whatever, can live up there. But now I have all of these glasses that I think could be normal glassware. So we are going to carefully move my chair and pivot over here. I'll be right back. Turns out there's no good place to put you. So we're going to put you right here. Then you cannot watch what I'm doing. But I will show you quickly what I'm thinking. So my husband has a few glasses that he definitely uses all the time. I have been wanting to get rid of this one, so that's going. This one, I don't like that it's just completely dripping everywhere. So I want that one to go. My husband uses that one, and that one. This one, kind of the same thing. We don't love it, but my mother-in-law got it for my husband, and my daughter likes to pick it out for him, so I have to keep it. So I have iced coffee mug, and then here's the other one, Muggle. This is the pair to the Harry Potter one that says Muggle. I don't need it. I like to use this one. These are like mine on the right side. I have 2 of my silicone cups. I have 3 of these rainbowy glasses. Only one of them has a lid, and it's lost its piece, so none of them have a lid. So I'm actually going to throw that out. I know it's weird, and you guys probably don't do this, but I am just particular about what glasses that I pick up, much like my mugs. So I have a separate side from my husband, and I don't use those, and he uses them, and he doesn't use these, and that probably makes me crazy. But now we have all of these, which I still love. My husband loves. They're nice and big. Yes, can use them. Then I have 4 of these, which means we have too many. But I have something important to tell you. And then these 2 little guys, because sometimes you just want a little cup, you know? Although I could just use a little wine glass if I want a little cup. I actually think these were once candles that I took the candles out of, and now I use them as cups. But like if I'm going to grab for this cup, Could I not just get this and fill it up less? I am weird about my juice glasses being smaller, but it might actually be fun to use these as juice glasses because I like seeing the hand blown glass in there. You know what? I'm going to get rid of these. So what I was going to say, now that the sun is coming out and beaming in my face, is I am starting to film, will be filming this weekend, getting rid of half of my dishware. And that's going to include my cups to see if we have less in the sink, less in the dishwasher, just less to do overall. So that video is coming, but it's an experiment and it takes time to see the results. So now that I have cut down phase 1 of my cups here, I think I can use that video to now take out some of the cups and put them away with the plates that we're not going to be using during the experiment, and see if my husband grabs for the other ones or misses his big cup or even, wants this one. Because that is part of all of this, is I'm going to live with half as much stuff in my cupboard to see if it just makes life easier. Because I spend so many hours in the kitchen cleaning up dishes and I don't want to anymore. So let me show you after that. Today, for this part of the video, is vessels we drink from. But we also found some buckwheat flour. So here is everything that I am getting rid of. We have cups, wine glasses, empty bottles, and buckwheat, almost a stovetop. So normally you see me up in my chair talking to you about routines and goals, habits. But today we're going to talk about my desk, because this is another category where I technically organized it already. I set up my drawers. I put things in buckets and spaces. And because it's technically organized, I checked it off as done. It's handled, no longer a problem. And since February, these things have sat in their buckets and their spaces, in the drawers, kind of being touched, kind of being useful. But technically, I probably haven't touched like 80% of this stuff. And that to me is information. A drawer can be organized, a bin can be tidy, and my desk can still be full of stuff I don't actually need. Because every extra pen, every random cord, every extra notepad, every maybe I'll need this one day item is something I'm still storing. It's still taking up mental space. Maybe it doesn't take a ton of effort to store it. Maybe it's not a huge clutter pile or overflowing. My desk drawers are all closing, but I also still know that it's there. I know my desk is full, and much like the empty drawer in the sideboard that I have not filled, what if my desk wasn't full either? What if there's space for my life to shift in our house because I start leaving empty space? What if there's room for new seasons, new things? So I need to ask myself, do I use this in my work right now? Whether it's for YouTube, for my photography career, or my coaching business. What would it look like if this disappeared and I no longer had it? Do I need it? Because obviously, yes, there are certain things with photo and video that you store and you don't always use every session or shoot. So would I look for it? Do I need it down the line? Or am I just keeping it because I had the space and the drawer for it, and realistically, it no longer is needed? Because that, once again, is the clutter trap. Am I saving it because I have storage for it? I don't want to fill my desk just because my desk has all these lovely places for storage. I want my desk to support the work I'm actually doing. Hey, before we actually get into decluttering my desk, I want to take a moment to just reflect on decluttering for a second. If you are in your first pass, not all of this will apply to you. I think this is the type of decluttering that comes after your first pass, much like the second pass of my wardrobe, the second pass of the bathroom. Now it's the second pass of the places that I'm still finding full. The first pass is easier. It's trash. It's broken things, expired things, extra things, things you know you haven't touched in years. It's stuff you obviously didn't want, or just things that don't belong anywhere. And then you put it all away. And then the second pass happens. This stuff is organized and technically not in the way. But again, That's why this layer is sneakier, because there's no emergency to decluttering it. Not screaming, deal with me, you're tripping on me, there's piles everywhere. It's just quietly taking up extra space that could be calm margin in your mind and your home. I want to create a life that I don't have to recover from, that I have to pay attention to these quiet things too. Because the goal for me is not a perfectly organized home with all the spaces for all the things that I could ever want. The goal is to have a home that supports the season we're in, that is full of the things that we actually use. That means empty space is allowed. My desk not being chock full is allowed. A cabinet that has breathing room, a closet that isn't packed, all of that is allowed. I don't have to prove that my home is efficient or impressive. I don't have to prove anything. And again, if you are on your first pass, give yourself some grace. You're not here yet, and that's okay. But if you are on your second pass, we're doing this together. We are creating a more intentional home. Now let's take a look at this desk. All right, this drawer, I have a lot of pens. I have notepads. I should probably just put this in like the kids' craft drawer. Someone gave it to me because I love roses. So it has my maiden name. It has roses that take up so much of the actual paper, and I just don't prefer that. So I think this one needs to go out and go to the kids. I also have this entire thing of tiny sticky notes. I have a bunch of yellow sticky notes, and my kids have discovered that they live in here. I have these page markers. I have had these for years, and I've only made it through like 4 of them because I forget they're here. I guess that's another fun part of the second pass, is realizing what you have when you've forgotten it. We use that. I'm going to bring this one downstairs for a grocery list because the one that was on our fridge is done. So that's handy. I have a nice pack of pens, and that drawer is done. This bottom drawer, you won't be able to see unless I tilt. This is going to need a minute. You know how long I've wanted to be the person with the home base binder? I had this from Emily Lay. Friend contacts. It has meal planning pages and finance, and then a family bucket list. But I think this would actually make a good homeschool binder. Remove that to the side. I have this tiny little bag in here. This is funny. I have these hand warmers for editing because I need my fingers while I edit, but my hands get so cold that I wear these. Isn't that silly? The life of a photographer. It's basically, this drawer looks like chaos, but I also went through it recently, and it has all of my backup computer stuff. And I have to speed up because my husband is headed home. Hello? We also have in here, I have cords, papers, notebooks, to-go pen kits, more cords, my time will tell filing system for stuff up here, as well as a whole thing of camera stuff, which that goes in there. That's said because I just shot a wedding. So I have been through that. And since that is set, we can look at things like this, decide where they need to belong. I'm pretty sure my son took these cords out of my cord bucket, and he was piecing them all together. And that is why they're all up here. So I'm going to put them all back in the cord bucket. I did declutter the cord bucket on my 500 item declutter that I did, because this bucket is supposed to be for dead camera batteries that I need to charge. Now it is empty and can serve its purpose again. But also my husband is headed home. So yeah, I have matches, a wine opener. They don't need to be in here. Those go back downstairs. I have all these hooks. My son was just asking for these hooks that go on that backdrop that has actually broken twice now. And I got half my money back for it. And it's just time to get rid of it. And now I have peg hooks And I don't know if I'll ever use another thing with pegs. All right, friend, it is late. The sun is going down, and I'm just now finishing. I didn't expect this to take all day, but hence a life of living with children and interruptions. Definitely put this to my goals. So here, friends, is what I'm learning. The clutter trap basically says, if this item has a home, then it can stay. But that's not always true. Sometimes the absolute best storage solution might not be another bin. It might not be another basket or a better divider. Maybe not even a more clever system. Sometimes the best storage solution is actually having fewer things to store. I know that may sound obvious, but it doesn't always feel that obvious. When you're standing in Target, looking at these cute little baskets and these little bins that can fit on your shelf, or when you're looking in your cabinet and thinking, everything fits, so I can close the doors and move on. But I want to keep asking better questions. That's what I've been doing my entire decluttering journey this year. And I hope you're doing it too. Not just where does this go, but is this worth the space it takes up in my home? Does this support the life I want to live? Do we use this? Do we love this? Does this make our space easier or harder to live in? Because I'm not here to tell you to throw everything away, become a minimalist, or declutter the personality out of your home. I don't want an empty home. I like it to feel lived in, but I don't want to just keep things because I have a space for them. That's the trap that I have noticed and the trap that I'm ready to stop falling for. Thanks for being here today. If you're also trying to live a more intentional life and simplify and declutter without becoming a true full-time minimalist, then feel free to hit like or subscribe. I'd love to see you in the next one. Have a great day.